You'll also want to educate your employees about phishing scams, password security, and safe online practices. I work with a client as their outsourced CFO, and virtually every week I get an email from the CEO asking to change his banking information before the next payroll. Hey, Chip Schweiger here. Welcome to another edition of the Things Entrepreneurs Should Know, the business podcast for entrepreneurs, founders, and business owners who want to build lasting financial value and supercharge the growth of their business. You've built a great business and things seem to be going well. You're scaling and creating a business that can thrive without you, and then, bam, a cyber attack, or natural disaster, or someone sues you for negligence. And before you know it, your life's work is in jeopardy. Risk is a part of doing business, but with the right approach, you can manage and minimize it effectively. So today on the show, we're diving into a critical topic for every business owner: risk mitigation strategies. Whether you're running a small startup or managing a large enterprise, understanding how to manage risks is essential for your long-term success. We'll discuss the areas where you're most likely exposed and how to close the gap on each of them. Now, I'm fairly risk adverse, so I'll give you a comprehensive list. If you're like me, I think it'll help. And don't worry, we'll still do it all in about 10 minutes. After the episode, check out the show notes at teskpod.com. Hi, and welcome back. Let's begin this week by defining risk mitigation. Simply put, risk mitigation involves identifying potential risks to your business and taking steps to reduce the impact of those risks. It's all about being proactive rather than reactive. So I'm going to give you 9 tips you can apply to seriously reduce your risk profile, and I think you'll find this is going to help you sleep better at night. So let's go. The first one should make sense, and it's to identify and assess risks. The first step in any risk mitigation plan is to identify and assess potential risks. This involves taking a close look at your business operations, financials, market conditions, and external factors. And you start with this by conducting a risk assessment. List out all potential risks, from natural disasters to cyber attacks to market fluctuations to tax positions and exposure. Now, not all risks are created equal, so you'll want to prioritize them. Rank them based on their likelihood and potential impact on your business. 2, develop a risk management plan. Once you've identified and assessed your risks, the next step is to develop a comprehensive risk management plan. And here we're really focusing on risk avoidance. Where possible, avoid risks altogether. For instance, if a particular market is too volatile, you might choose not to enter it. If you're also interested in risk reduction, you'll want to implement measures to reduce the likelihood or impact of risks. This could include installing security systems, training employees, or diversifying your supply chain. The third part of your risk management plan is risk sharing. The goal here is to transfer some of the risk to third parties. This is often done through insurance or outsourcing certain operations. And the last part of your risk mitigation strategy is deciding on risk retention. Accept some risks as part of doing business, especially if the cost of mitigation is higher than the potential loss. Okay? The third tip is to invest in insurance. Insurance is one of the most effective ways to manage risk. It provides a financial safety net in case of unexpected events. General liability insurance protects against claims of injury or property damage. Professional liability insurance covers legal costs related to professional mistakes or negligence. Property insurance protects your physical assets, such as buildings and equipment, from damage or theft. And cyber insurance covers losses related to cyber attacks and data breaches. And while we're on the topic, in today's world, cyber attacks are increasing. In today's digital age, cybersecurity is a top concern for businesses of all sizes. So my fourth tip is to strengthen your cybersecurity measures. Here are some steps you can take. Ensure all your systems and software are up to date with the latest security patches and regular software updates. You'll also want to educate your employees about phishing scams, password security, and safe online practices. I work with a client as their outsourced CFO, and virtually every week I get an email from the quote sign CEO asking to change his banking information before the next payroll. Also, data encryption allows you to encrypt sensitive data to protect it from unauthorized access. And this is not just for companies anymore. And also regularly back up your data and store it in a secure offsite location. The number 5 tip is to diversify your supply chain. Relying on a single supplier or market can be risky. Diversifying your supply chain can help you manage risk related to supply disruptions. So you'll want to have multiple suppliers to ensure you have alternatives if one faces issues. You'll also need geographical diversification. Source products from different geographical locations to mitigate risks related to regional disruptions. The number 6 tip is to implement strong financial controls. Strong financial controls are essential for minimizing risks related to fraud, theft, and financial mismanagement. And you do this 3 ways. Conduct regular internal and external audits to identify and address financial discrepancies. Get good segregation of duties, and what I mean by that is ensure that no single employee has control over all aspects of a financial transaction. And third, regularly update your budget and financial forecast to reflect changing conditions. Now, my 7th tip is a bit more work, but it's worth it, and that's to develop a business continuity plan. A business continuity plan ensures that your business can continue operating during and after a crisis. And it too has 3 components. Identifying critical functions. Here you'll determine which business functions are essential for continued operations. 2, an emergency response plan. So, develop a plan for responding to different types of emergencies, including natural disasters, cyber attacks, and pandemics. And 3, a communication plan. Establish clear communication channels for informing employees, customers, and stakeholders during a crisis. The number 8 tip is kind of a no-brainer, and that's to stay compliant with regulations. Staying compliant with local, state, and federal regulations can help you avoid legal risks and fines. So think about conducting regular compliance audits to ensure compliance with all applicable laws and regulations, and then train your employees on compliance requirements and best practices. Now, risk mitigation is not a one-time task. It requires ongoing monitoring and review. So the last tip is to continuously assess new and existing risks to your business and review and update plans by regularly reviewing and updating your risk management and business continuity plans. By implementing these strategies, you can better protect your business and ensure its long-term success. Remember, risk is a part of doing business. You really can't get away from it. But with the right approach, you can manage and minimize it effectively. Well, that about wraps up another edition of the Things Entrepreneurs Should Know podcast. Be sure to check out our website at teskpod.com, where you can find the show notes, an archive of our past episodes, and other resources to help grow your business. That's teskpod.com. And if you haven't done so already, I'd really appreciate if you take just 1 minute to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. Or rate us on Spotify. It helps out a lot to get this to more entrepreneurs and business owners. And if you've already done that, please consider sharing this show with family and friends who you think would get something out of it. As always, thank you for your support. This is Chip Schweiger reminding you that if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. We'll see you down the road.